we're back on. We're trying to Behind the Badge. Another great show we have lined up for tonight. But we're gonna get to that in a second, man. Haven't seen you guys in a little bit, man, and the whole crew is here. Let's give it up for that real quick. Give it up for the whole crew. Whole crew came together right there, man. That's pretty awesome. So, and they've changed the names. Everybody's really into this. I'm watching some of the. I see this happening. So we're gonna go around the horn real quick before we introduce our guest. And I want to say now we have three guests instead of just one because I'm seeing name changes happen here. So we're gonna start with first our regular people. Chris, Tiger King Fields, what have you been up to, my brother? What's going on?
Man, it's been a while. Y'all's all ugly as I remember. I thought y'all. I mean, God dang, that's kind of an unfriendly reminder.
Yes, sir.
I thought we were a good-looking crew. But,
no, we're getting older and uglier, brother. That's all that's happening to us, man. Yeah,
no,
for sure.
man, it's been unfortunately the wellness division here has been a little busy with some unfortunate happenings, and just been running around, man. Haven't been traveling much at all. Got a few coming up next couple of months, but it's been pretty quiet other than just stuff here locally, which I kind of like. I was getting a little sick of airports and sitting by people I don't know all the time, but it was. But no, it's been busy here, unfortunately. But looking forward to tonight, though. I was sitting in traffic, honking my horn and cussing, telling people to get out of my way. I was babysitting the grandson today, so.
Oh, that's always a good time. That's always a good time. Always a good time, man.
Let's
Good.
Get it.
Absolutely, man. Dougie Fresh, I see you up there, man, in the bike room, man. What you been up to, my brother?
I've been pretty busy. I am actually October. Does it start today or tomorrow?
Today, October 1.
I am only home 3 days this month. And so, I'm fixing to hit the road. So I've been actually resting up and preparing myself, preparing my dog for her to be pissed off at me for about the next 31 days. But that's
man. And I'll jump into that. Dougie and I, we're going to be in Buffalo coming up here. I think next week. Well, let me back up before that. This week we're going to be down in South Florida for the Florida PCIS going on for next few days. So that's the first thing. Then next week we have a gig with the FBI, I believe, up in Buffalo, New York. Is that right, Doug? Is Buffalo or is it Niagara?
It's both.
I think we fly into Buffalo, drive to Niagara. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, up there and doing that, and then I forgot what we got after that. But we'll be pretty busy in October. So, and of course, I got SWAT Roundup coming up end of the month. So I got just a whole bunch of crap coming, man. But and then we're gonna go to Rich Venkman Creamer, the newest ghost hunter out there. So what's been going on, Richie?
Nothing. Just got back from the lovely San Francisco Bay Area with you, Raul. Got finished up, getting all trained up, and joining the ranks of those ICISF instructors. Having sat through that long weekend, but hopefully good things will come. I think it's a good little feather in the cap to have. So hopefully, at first of the year, some things will pop off. Gearing up for Boston at the end of this month. So
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about Boston. We're gonna be there.
We're proud of you guys, man. That's no easy task.
I think we talked about this a little bit, maybe in the last show. I guess we were in the middle of going into it or something like that. But that ICISF certifications, me and Richie have been working on it. Chris is shaking his head. He knows all too well about it. He was bald then. Now he's grown hair since he's finished it. So it's definitely. It's definitely an undertaking, and I'm proud to say that we went through it, and we've gotten some certifications since. So that's been pretty cool. So
our team a little bit more powerful, man, with resources. And so that's kind of cool. But I got a question to ask you and Richie. When y'all went to San Francisco and you looked out at Alcatraz, did y'all think like Doug's a bad motherfucker for doing that shit?
No,
no, you're just stupid.
It's okay. Listen, it's okay because you go through these thoughts in your head, like while you're doing it and you're crying, you're like, well, at least my boys will think I'm cool. And then you wonder, well, maybe they won't think you're cool. So,
well, there you go. I mean,
Let's put that to bed.
Let's put that to bed. I just thought you were just dumb.
I was like, that
probably one of the dumbest things you've done.
I'm like, that dumbass swam from there to here. What was he thinking about?
All for a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah. Four times. Yeah. No, man, that's.
And they're all the same size, so it wasn't like you were getting bigger or anything.
No. And so, Chris, the ghost hunter, Scallon. First of all, my brother, definitely want to pay our respects and condolences to the passing of the Pexter. He has been on the show. He's kind of like furniture. Jeremy, I'm not sure if we told you, but that's Chris's father-in-law who passed away a couple days ago.
Yeah.
A couple days ago. So, man, sorry for your loss, Chris. So we wanted to, definitely get that out there before before we go any further, man. But Chris, and I know you've been dealing with that, man. But outside of that, how's the family doing and what's going on, man?
Pretty busy. I got to hang out with Dougie Fresh over on the border. We were over the Rio Grande.
That's right.
And the best part about that trip, aside from a couple different things, we sat down at an authentic Mexican restaurant, and Doug ordered a chimichanga. And that waitress looked at him like, what the fuck is a chimichanga?
He was ordering Tex-Mex.
It was fucking hilarious.
Don't eat Mexican food, man. I don't
Monday. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. No, we did did Rio for the Rio Grande for the 911 operator. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
and that we got to give thanks or credit where credit is due, and that's Raul's doing. They loved Raul, and they were like, "Well, who do you hang out with?" And he's like, "Oh, and like, all right, let's bring the folks." There was a line to take a picture with Doug. There was a line to take a picture with Doug and shake his hand, and I got the honor of holding everybody's fucking camera to take a picture. That was pretty awesome.
It's the Rio Grande Valley 9/11. Yeah. And they did an amazing job last year. It was their first year doing it, and first year making it quite the size that they had it there. And and that's exactly, Chris hit it on the head. They asked me, if I knew anybody. I know a couple of shitheads that might work right in. And so I definitely put our information out there, and they wanted the ghost hunter and Ghoul Manda there, and thank you guys for representing. And I think they're gonna want more of us, So that's great, guys. So it's amazing, man. So and lastly, before I introduce our guest, man, I definitely, to any listeners out there in the Carolinas or the Gulf Coast of Florida, up through Georgia and Alabama, anybody that was affected with that storm, our prayers are with you. Please, if it's anything we can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. I got a couple of guys over in Waynesville County, I think is how you say it. Just decimated by the storm, man, and they are, and it reminds me of Doug's story about Katrina. They're seeing some things. They're seeing some things out there that's
Katrina. I heard Katrina
absolutely
so many times. Also, on that same note, friend of ours, Gio, family took a devastating loss. Lost everything. Close family of them. So, again, for everybody, I know we're dealing with it, and I know on the like the response side,
Right.
that I work with, we're already setting up responses for when shit starts kind of winding down. And
yeah, they're still in just a kind of recovery mode and still search. So it's gonna be a minute. They're cut. Some people are just cut off. I mean, they just can't. Where there used to be a creek, there's a river, and where there used to be a road, there's a creek. So it's pretty bad. But definitely keep them in your prayers and know that they're out there struggling. I will tell you that the guys that I spoke to today are saying that it is absolutely amazing that people that truly are lost everything are going to first responders and giving them the last bottle of water because they know that and their last piece of food, not knowing where the next piece of food or water is coming from because they see the first responder working. They said it's been amazing in that regard. So it that does warm my heart that we still got good people out there. Anyway, that being said, man, we'll get past that and wishing all them the best. We have got this is some Ghostbuster poltergeist. I just watched a crazy movie on Netflix. You guys see this shit called Deliverance?
That's not a horror movie. That's not the same
action. It's based on a true story shit. I couldn't sleep for 5 days. So anyway, we got one of them people.
Was Burt Reynolds in the Deliverance one you saw?
I think it's called I think it's called Deliverance on Netflix. I'm gonna look for it now where you guys are talking.
Did a guy squeal like a pig?
Yeah.
No, man, I'm telling you, the shit was scary. Yeah, I'm gonna find the damn title page. I'll put it up here.
Straight, man. There's no curves and. I don't know what
man.
Both movies are scary. Both movies are scary.
Jeremy from Beyond the Badge Paranormal is on the show. Jeremy, thank you so much for being here, man. We appreciate it, and for taking some time out because you're holding down the full time, and then you're doing Beyond the Badge Paranormal. And I've said it twice now. What the hell is Beyond the Badge Paranormal, man? Let's go into that really quick before we talk about you. What are we going to talk about tonight, man? Because I'm thinking Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, that kind of shit. So what are we talking about?
First of all, I'm a huge paranormal fan and a huge ghost hunting fan. So
cool.
That's all they needed to say. And
yeah, man,
I want to get into it, but I'm also curious how the connection was made because when I told my wife who works in Newport News, she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, "Oh, you got to be shitting me." So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been a fireman with the city of Newport News for 18 years, but I've been a enthusiast, paranormal enthusiast, I call myself, for more than 30 years. I mean, when I was a little kid, that's all I ever wanted to do is just go find ghosts for some reason. It's kind of a weird thing to do as a kid, but my kids grew up as baby. Oh yeah, he's proven his point. Okay, all right.
Take a look at it. It's on Netflix.
Raul, I saw it, man. It's like got demonic shit in it, so I turned right off, man.
Yeah, I got some stories. About that too, by the way, some demonic stuff. But anyway, man, fireman with the city, fireman paramedic with the city of Newport News, 18 years, enthusiast for paranormal stuff. I realized I worked every day and I worked overtime. I came home and I went back to work. I had no outlets. I had no way to relieve stress. I was really kind of lost in this whole just go to work, come home, go to work, come home kind of thing. But I really love the paranormal stuff. And one day I decided I need a hobby because right now I'm heading down this road of depression and just working myself into the grave. And I'm not really feeling like I get anything for myself. And my wife and kids are wonderful, but I need something, So I went to work one day and I had my rookie there, Lisette, who's on our group. And I basically forced her to join my team. I said, hey, on Saturday night, I don't know if you're busy or not, but cancel your plans. We're going out to the woods to spend the night with our cameras, and we're going to see if we can catch some ghosts. And
and she was like, okay, is that what happened?
Well, she brought her girlfriend. And so what I did is I prepped her for it. The shift before, we watched like 5 hours of ghost adventures and all kinds of stuff on the TV. So she was like, "Man, this is awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to go," which is totally not how it goes, by the way. So on a cold late October night, we went out into the woods of Newport News, Virginia, which is full of Civil War battlefields. And we spent the night out there, me, her girlfriend, and I brought my littlest kid because we were just figuring it out. And all we had was one little camera and a little recording device. And we just had a great time. I mean, it was relaxing. It was fun. It was slightly scary. We did some solo things, where we left each other alone in the woods. But we actually caught a couple weird voices. And so we were hooked. We were like, oh, man, this is fantastic. So that's how it all started. Just that one little idea of we need to do something. But then, of course, I can't sit on an idea. I have to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So I came up with a brand new name the next day. And then I got a call from some fireman's wife, Jessica, who's on the team, who's our medium. They called me and they were like, hey, we heard you have a group. Now, this is weird because I'm a week old. She said, can we hang on with you and learn some things? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but sure, man, come on. So they joined in. And so that's how it all started. Really me, Lisette, Randy, and Jess just kind of figuring it out as we go. And then the Beyond the Badge Paranormal has kind of morphed into a lot more than that. We realized while we were doing that we were getting some mental health therapy, family time. I know it sounds kind of crazy, we're talking with ghosts and scaring ourselves, but it's equivalent to jumping off the bridge with a bungee cord. You get that feeling of fear and terror that runs through your body when you're all by yourself. But I don't have to jump off the bridge, thank God. But when I tell you, hey, I want you to walk down that hallway by yourself, and that there's reports of ghosts that push you, you get that scared feeling. And if you push yourself through that, you feel that you've accomplished something. But the whole time you're doing that, you're not thinking about the calls that you take, the job stress, your bills, all the things going on in your life. All you're thinking about is that one little moment. Well, I got to take the next step. So we realized that's how it was helping us. And then one day I woke up and I woke up and I was in a bad place. For some reason, my body went into some weird state, and I equate a lot of it to God kind of working through me. And for about 4 months, I went through this really deep depression to the point where I was considering some pretty dark stuff. And when I came out of it, I thought, you know what? Why can't I just do something better than just being a paranormal group? Why don't I try to actually make this an outlet? Let's make some videos and see what happens. And then I contacted Doug and Karen, and that's how it all started. But it's a little bit more than that.
How long? Well, yeah, no, absolutely. How long you been in existence, man? How long you been doing this stuff? Because I saw some YouTube videos, and again, I can only watch a few minutes at a time. I gotta go watch Bambi or something. But how long have you been doing? How long you been in existence, man?
So for the paranormal group side, we started October 2023. So we're getting to our year point. So it's taken off like wildfire. If you watch our first couple videos, they're pretty horrible. Not very entertaining.
Same with
editing.
us.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? It develops over time. I learned a lot about editing and, spend some money and stuff. And the places we've gone have gotten more scary and darker and, more entertaining. And that's really it. But the big focus for us is we love the ghost hunting stuff, but we're making an impact on the mental health side, and that makes us feel even better. The ghost stuff is fun. I mean, hanging out with your friends, drinking beer, and hunting ghosts, you can't really beat that. But when you're helping somebody through a crisis, I mean, that's the best thing.
Here's one way to look at it. They scare you so bad that all the shit you were fucked up with from before, you forget it because you got this scary shit to do.
I actually think the ghosts. I actually think the spirits, they see us, right? They feel bad for us because we're all so fucked up that they come out and be like, hey, guys, look, let's just give them something. These guys need it. They're doing it for a good cause. Because because I've watched paranormal shows my whole life, and they catch things here and there. Every place we've been, and this is not an exaggeration, we have caught the most, the craziest things. When we catch a voice, it's not a weird voice. It's like a full blown, like this voice. We catch noises, we see things. And I always say, how in the heck does an amateur little group like us always catch the craziest things? And I think it's because the ghosts feel bad for us. We're all fucked up. Yeah, pretty much.
I believe it.
Hey, Jeremy, I would be remiss if I didn't say this because my wife is like, tell them they got to do Fort Monroe. I'm like,
oh yeah, we're working on that. We're actually supposed to meet up with. They're doing rescue week there. The fire department is, and there's a hospital, an abandoned hospital there, and their friend, the one of the lieutenants who's in charge of the tech team, he's friends with the lady who is basically the caretaker, has the keys to the building. So we're going to actually meet up with her at some point and discuss letting us in. When you go into government places and like private places, it's really tough to get in. We want to do everything legally. We usually have to pay anywhere between $700 to $1,500 a night to go to these places, and that all comes out of our pocket. Obviously, it's not cheap at all. But yeah, we definitely, Fort Monroe is beautiful. I just want to go there for the history, really.
Yeah. Well,
is there? So let me ask you this: Are you? And I'm going to get back to your history here in a second, but
Right.
the places that you go, like, is there like stories behind each place you go, or you just kind of go into abandoned places? What's the rhyme and reason for which places you pick out?
So we don't typically go to just random abandoned places because normally we don't know who owns those places and how safe it is. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We all have full-time jobs. We got to make it to the job the next day. But we go to places that are established. So, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, St. Albans Sanatorium, Sweet Springs Sanatorium. These are actual locations.
When you say, and do they have like a story? Like you say established that there's ghosts in them?
100%. There's ghosts. There's a documented history. There's documented death. If you go to our website, we just created a website about a week ago. Well, I finished it up about a week ago and put it out there. What I've done on that website is I've put on there every location that we went for the first season, and then a bit of the history page. When you click on that history page, it takes you to their link to their website, and you can read all the history. You can see all the evidence that we've caught there. Yeah, but they're all established places because we don't want to just go to the random. I mean, I do. That sounds fun, but safety is number one, and we don't want to get arrested. So,
right.
So I got to be good.
Why? You know some cops.
Well, I do. I know.
The cops ain't gonna show up. The cops ain't gonna show up. They're gonna be too scared. They're gonna be like, "Fucking, I ain't going to that call."
Oh,
yeah,
that's one of them ones where we couldn't get the cops to clear the scene before we go in, right?
You ain't lying. You are not lying, man.
The scene is safe. They're not even there. Yeah, I got you.
I ain't going there. Let me ask you this, Jeremy. Now, is your team all firefighters and spouses? Is that?
So it's right now it's all firemen and one spouse, but she's an EMT. So, and my daughter actually, she just turned 18, and I had a bit of a rule. You had to be a first responder of some type. And I wasn't allowing anybody to come in that was under the age of 18 because of some of the traumatic places we go. We're going to places where people were murdered, they were raped, they were tortured. It's too much for a child to try to deal with, and I don't want to cause trauma by trying to hunt ghosts. So there was a age, you had to be an adult. And then my daughter, the way she fits into it, one, I'm the leader of the group, so I can make my own rules. But two, she's actually in college right now. She wants to be a park ranger for the National Park Service. And I said, well, you will be a first responder. You're going to be doing that stuff. Yeah. So I said, and I'm your dad, so I can let you go.
And when you said, going back to the mental health side of it, when you said you found it kind of helping guys or firefighters, number one, just kind of taking their mind off of things. But if you can expound on how you're finding that it's helping guys. I mean, I know viewership, and you've been getting some feedback on that as well. So you can explain some of that. Mm-hmm.
Well, so one, not our guys in the group, but just people out in the public. We put out. I mean, I put out information daily, just encouraging words and things like that, and I get the amount of chatter that I hear from my own people in my own fire department, from people from other fire departments locally that are reaching out saying, "Hey, we like your channel," or "We love the message." That means a lot. I was talking with Doug not too long ago. We actually had a responder reach out and said because of the messages we were putting out, that responder was able to immediately say, "Hey, I don't know who else to reach out to, but I see your message. Can you help?" And then what's such an amazing blessing is that Survive First lives up to the hype, because I called Doug directly and said, I got a provider that is in immediate need of help. In the 24 to 48 hours, I don't know if it's going to be enough time. And he made things happen quick. And I was, it was sort of like a test, but I wasn't testing him. But I was like, man, let's see how this thing really works. And it's beautiful. It made my heart feel good. I'm like, man, and I told Doug, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I literally just answer the bell when it goes off. But this is amazing. So it must be doing something. Yeah. And then
absolutely,
I have a TikTok channel too. And I put out, I was telling Doug that I did a 30 days of encouragement thing on TikTok. Cause I scroll for like everyone for hours, mindlessly scrolling. And I had this great idea one day. I think it's a great idea. And I made my group do it, which was, if you're scrolling on TikTok and you come across a first responder page, because most of my stuff is, take the second to send just an encouraging, hey, thank you for what you do. You're important. And then move on. So you've taken 2 hours of your day that you normally waste, and you've made some sort of useful impact. And it's what's wild is the amount of responses I've gotten back saying, wow, I really needed this today. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, thank you so much. That makes me feel so good. I did it to nurses, dispatchers, firemen, police officers, and the military people. Anybody that came across, I know this sounds bad, but I had pre-written messages for each type, because I just didn't want to. It takes a lot of time to type all these messages. Yeah. So I made some pre-planned ones, and I would just send it to them. And I wouldn't ask them to. I didn't ask them to subscribe to the channel. I didn't ask them to watch the videos. I wanted it to be genuine. I wanted them to know that we care, and there's no strings attached. And then, so pretty awesome.
You were saying something, Chris?
No, like in what you're doing and what you're talking about, it's not trauma bonding, but I would say it's akin to it, like having that shared exhilarating experience, where it's kind of like Doug was just saying perfectly. You're so hyper focused on what you're doing, and you're having fun doing it, that it gives you pause from the 900 other hours where you're like reliving certain bullshit or just horrible scenes or just shitty calls and stuff like that. It's a respite for all that trauma, but you're doing it like in a very involved way, which I think is awesome. I don't, again, and I was talking about this, I don't even know how many shows ago. There was a cop in Chicago that was doing paranormal cops.
Yeah,
shit,
I watched it.
He was like a sergeant in Chicago. He was
that's been a little while. Yeah, I remember that.
It was fucking hilarious. It was. I mean,
it was awesome.
It was just great.
His partner's a psychic.
I used to watch that show.
Okay.
Yeah. But like all that stuff, it's because I don't like watching cop shows, or fireman shows, because that's just watching people sleep all day. So what I love the combination of like, because I love paranormal shit. Like I went to Vegas to Zach Baggins Museum.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we're going again, and I'm bringing my wife this time to go to the museum again. Like I'm a diehard. Any hotel we stay at, because we travel a lot. I stayed the scariest hotel. There was a hotel in South Dakota. I forget what the name was, but the third floor apparently there's a ghost because a bride jumped out the window, was pushed, and I was like, "Hey, can I stay in that room?" And they're like, "Well, someone's in it." I was like, "Well, put me on that same floor at least." And I heard some drunk.
Why are you going looking?
That's just dumb.
No.
Yeah, why are you looking for the just
hilarious, man? I love.
I don't think it's dumb, but y'all were giving Doug a hard time about spending in San Francisco, Alcatraz, and then it's not. You got to be careful.
I ain't the only one.
Hey,
I'm
we
with
went to
you.
I went to a deal here with Danny Long. They were looking at property to build the deal for the wellness division, and Department of Corrections owned an old. It's where back in the 50s and 60s, parents would, if they couldn't handle their kids anymore, because they thought that they'd ship them off to this state-run institution deal, and all the buildings were still standing. They were going to have to be torn down, of course. But we went in this one, and the guy that was taking us through there showing us, he said, some of these little rooms that used to have bars on them, you could go in there and you can see claw marks in the brick wall where these kids were clawing the walls. And I'm telling right now, my hair's standing up on my freaking arm. And that wasn't even like a ghost tour. That was just learning the history of a building.
Yeah.
And I stand there going, okay, you're with some badasses. Act tough. Don't back out.
Well, that's the thing. No matter how big of a badass you are, when you're in a haunted place like that, it don't matter how big you are, how stuffed you are, whether you lift heavy things or not. You'll find out a little bit. Like, I'm not a tiny guy, and I like this shit. But we have some dudes that come with us that are, a lot more in shape than I am, and they're like, "Hell no, I'm not doing that, man." And when you touch the wall of where those claw marks are, the energy that's implanted in those walls. I know it sounds like sci-fi bullshit, but really, there's energy that's implanted. The trauma that occurs in those rooms, it's kind of there. And those stone walls, they suck that trauma in, and you can feel the energy. The whole place feels heavy. You can feel the sadness. Yeah, it's crazy.
And
I
like,
felt the energy
especially being
from
in
10 foot away.
Virginia has been involved in every war. It's and one of the we have, Yorktown. We have all this sorts of Williamsburg historical landmarks that are just filled with tragedy, and war and just chaos, and it's fucking amazing. And I'm telling you, man, if you do one and you're gonna be somewhat local and I'm available, dude, count me in. I'll hold the mic.
I can get you in anytime, man. Just we'll talk about it. I have some places I've linked up over the course of the year with some folks local that will be able to get us in anywhere we want. The local places, we're relatively cheap and quick, so we'll hook
I'd
up.
like to meet you too, but just like at a steakhouse or something like that.
Yeah. I'll meet you at a Dunkin', Jeremy. We can talk about shit over coffee. But I'm not meeting you. I'm not meeting you to fucking fuck around with that bullshit. Sorry,
Chris.
Woods and
well,
Scallon would be the only one to meet you. At a
fucking Scallon would be fucking. That'd be one of his fucking 900 other fucking undertakings. He'd be fucking part of your team too.
Scallon's that guy that's going to show up in the Ghostbusters outfit.
No doubt.
With the freaking backpack thing. I'm ready, Jeremy. I'm ready. So yeah.
I will tell you, ghosts do follow you home too, man. I've had a couple things follow me home. That's one of the side effects of the ghost hunting is when you get one to hitch onto you, they do come home with you, and so they'll watch you sleep. They'll open your doors and stuff. And so there's a cleansing technique that we do usually, but like I said, I ain't no expert at this stuff. I rely on our medium, and she's good, but sometimes they come anyway. They follow you home, man. It's crazy.
I'm gonna get close to the mic. Fuck no, I'm not doing it.
Well, a very interesting aside. One of the things that I used to always do with the Pexter.
Yeah. Hey, hold on, Chris. Hold on. Go ahead, Doug.
Our wives are Latin, dude. Are you trying to get us murdered, man? There was nothing in the pretext of shit will come home with you. I got enough fucking problems in this house.
Well, I'll tell you right now, between Doug and Chris and Raul, they got some Latin other halves that they know all about the kukui and all that.
Yeah, bro, you ain't lying, man. That shit, bro.
Day of Death shit.
But no, it was.
There's some very scary. There's some very scary theories on what ghosts actually are, and if you believe one of them, it's probably the most terrifying theory of all. That all ghosts, even the ones that you think are your grandma, are actually demonic, and they're just trying to fool you into communicating with them. So if that's the case, even when you think grandma is coming to visit, you're actually talking to something dark. And if that's the case, if you're watching a paranormal show with something demonic, they can affect you through what you're watching as well. They're very deceiving, and like they're evil as shit, man. And we have a location that we visit often. That's the most haunted place that I've ever experienced, and we've experienced some pretty cool places. It's just a brick rancher in Mechanicsville, and it's got demonic shit. It's terrible. It visits you in your sleep. It's bad stuff. So if Chris really wants to experience some terrible things, we can go spend the night there. That's the worst place ever, but I also love it because it's the most active place.
I have
How
9
about like the haunted mansion at Disney? Let's start at the Disney's haunted mansion. Right
Well,
there.
if you really want your hair to stand on end and get chills, I want you to watch episode that's called Cabin on 360 Part 1.
You told me about that.
And go to the very end of that episode and listen to the little girl, Melissa, who was murdered in 1979, scream, please help. We have a lot of things we catch on audio.
Oh, I saw it.
There's no way to, I don't have a budget enough to fake anything. I don't have any money. So it's not like I just make the videos. When I had this thing on, I'm thinking, this has to be the greatest piece of paranormal evidence ever caught. This girl just screams, please help. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen, man. And
that was
I
awesome.
shivered so much sitting here the last. I gotta go pee. I said, I
wouldn't go by yourself.
Jeremy, have you thought about asking Eastern State to kind of take a trip at night?
Dude.
So Eastern State is since it's a state facility, it's real tough to allow them to let you do anything. They used to have a building 28. That's where they used to do all the training. And they had underground tunnels and things like that. That would be awesome. It's just, let's try to get the state of Virginia or any state to let you do something. You have to really know somebody really high up, and it's really tough to get in there. But I would go in that place by myself in the middle of the night just to experience it. I mean, that's the kind of the person I am. If you ask anybody on my group, my whole mindset is I love our group and everything we do. But my big thing is I love going places by myself, being solo for a while, just experiencing that fear. I got this whole weird mind thing where I just want to be by myself just for 45 minutes every time we go, so I can experience total fear. Because when you leave out of that, you feel like, wow, I don't really. And I thought during my depression state, what it was doing is it was making me actually feel something again, because I was in a state where I was so numb, I didn't feel anything, but I was feeling something. So I loved it. I'm like, man, I got to get that again. And it's also just fun. I mean, yeah.
Jeremy, have you, and because I'm a fanatic about this stuff, what's some of your like dream equipment to kind of start utilizing in some of these investigations? Like, because there's a ton of shit out there. There's some apps that you can get.
Yeah, we have so much. We, over the course of the year, have acquired a ton of cool shit, man. REM pods, which are like, for those that aren't fanatics, it creates an electromagnetic field. And then we have EMF detectors, and we have all kinds of like motion balls and like voice recorders. We have all of the stuff they have on TV. There's nothing they have that we don't have. We've acquired it. We just decided as a group, we have the Ovilus, we have everything. We just decided as a group, if we're going to do this for real, we're going to have to put some money into it. But there's a million groups out there, and they all want to do the same thing. We wanted to be slightly different. One, we wanted to make YouTube content, because we realized we made one video and it got like 4,000 views or some stupid thing. It was the dumbest video I've ever seen. I'm like, man, this is idiotic. Who the hell would watch this video? But anyway, I thought, well, if we get 4,000 people to watch a video, and then at least 3 times during the video we talk about mental health, that's 4,000 people that maybe one person needs it. Who knows? So we have all the equipment, but we take the cameras and we try to actually put together some sort of documentary version of what we're doing. But there's the dream equipment. I mean, I have so much. I really want to get a better drone, because I love B-roll shots. I love the pre-recording too, of flying around and doing pretty shots. So when you make your video, it helps build the story. But those things are expensive, man. And it's only our first year. We'll get there. But I'll be honest with you, the most important ghost hunting tool you got is patience and just sitting still, being patient, and what you hear and feel right here in your own body. Your body is it senses things, you know. You don't really need all this fancy equipment unless you want to make some sort of show about it.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you. So, what does it look like? Like, so you get a guy like Chris Scallon that calls you up, right? And he says, "Hey, well, I shouldn't use Chris Scallon because he's fucked." So, if you get a guy that calls you up and says, "Hey, you know, I saw the show. I dug what you said about mental health, man. Just want to hang out one night with you." What's
Sure.
that look like?
I mean, if I get that call, I'll say, absolutely, man, give me your information. And then the next thing I would do would be to start calling my friends that I've made contacts with over the course of the year. So there's a place in Williamsburg we just left. We spent 2 nights there. That's David and Jerry. They're fantastic for really super cheap. We could go there, and it's not always full, so we can get in there pretty easy. The Cabin on 360, the really dark place. Those people are amazing. I can call them and get in relatively quick. There's places around here that we can get into relatively fast, and then I would try to make it work. You know, I would want to get them in somewhere as quick as possible. I would tell them to go to our webpage because there's so much information on that. They could learn a little bit about the tools before they go, you know, on the investigation. But yeah, right. I have a couple people actually sort of doing that same thing. I have a couple of my co-workers, Captain and his wife, are like, "Hey, we really want to go," and I'm trying to get ready to set that up. My sister, who's a nurse, an RN, who has been on some investigations, is part of our team as well. Her and her nurse friend went with us on one episode, and they just said, "Hey, we want to go," and I said, "Okay, let me make a phone call," and I took them to the cabin and terrified the shit out of them. They were terrified. They told me at the end of the night this was the greatest night of their life because the shit that we caught, you cannot even make it up. The very first thing I did when I walked in, I said, when you walk into this place, you're going to feel the fear immediately. As soon as they walked in, they're like, my legs feel like concrete. They were like already freaking out. And I knocked on the wall, and no shit, you hear it in the video, you hear right back. And their eyes went this big. And I said, this ain't no movie. This is some real shit. So then there was a bell on the table next to us. And I said, if you're in here, ring the bell. And you hear, dink, it rings. So now their eyes are really big. So then I take them into the murder house, and I went over to the little girl's room, and I stomped on the floor, and I said, watch this. If I stomp on the floor, the demonic entity under the floorboards or in the basement will bang back. And they were like, yeah, we'll see. So I hit the floor, boom, boom, boom. And you hear, doof, doof. You hear it bang back. And they were like, so then I said, well, you know, it's daylight right now, but we're going to go down there in the dark. And they were like, what? This is crazy. Yeah, they were all huddled together. It was beautiful. I loved it. It was fun.
So one of my big questions is because again, watching all these things, I'm watching all the night vision stuff that they got going on. And it's a little bit misleading, I guess, on my end, because I think on several occasions, some of the groups will be like, this is what it looks like. And it's pitch black. Just what's that? Because you get to, you see both sides of it. So you see that you're in there in the dark doing whatever you got to do, and then you're watching it. What's if you could explain to somebody who's watching you guys in like that green type light,
sure.
What it actually feels like in that darkness? Is it just?
Well, if you just close your eyes right now, that's what it looks like. You can't see shit, man. I have a little viewfinder on the camera, and that's the light. That's all I got. And a lot of times I'll flip it down because it messes my eyes up. I can't. It's putting light in, and you're in a dark room. I'll flip it down, or we'll put a piece of tape over it just because. But I got to be able to. It's like having a tick, you know. I don't want to like trip over things, so it's completely pitch black in there. The IR light. We have night vision cameras. The cameras with night vision capabilities, but they only work if we send out IR light. So we have these IR lights that we put on the rigs that put IR light into the room, but you don't see anything but the red glow, and that's not really illuminating anything. Yeah, it's weird because you might see us looking around, but we can't see anything. If you were talking to me, the only reason I'm staring at you is because I hear your voice, And after about 6 hours in the dark, your eyes will adjust to where you can see different shades of dark, which is when I see shadow figures. I've seen shadow men move around. I saw a shadow figure in Waverly Hills step out of a room while we were talking to him, and we had the REM pod responding, and then he stepped back into the room. And so, real quick, while we're at Waverly Hills, we had a 45-minute conversation with a patient at Waverly Hills. It was a tuberculosis hospital way back in the early 1900s, and we were able to determine with very calculated questions and using the REM pod and getting answers that he was 43 years old. He was a patient. He was a soldier, that he grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, that he liked to fish in the river that's next door, that his favorite fish to catch was catfish. And we did this by asking specific questions like, were you, let's figure your age out.
The responses were coming from the obelisk?
The REM pod.
The REM pod?
So the REM pod is just a device. It has lights and it has a antenna, and it puts out a magnetic field. And if something comes near it, it breaks that field, it lights the lights up. So we put it in the middle of the hallway, and we said, listen, if you're here, come close to this device. Now it's quiet, nothing's happening. And all of a sudden you hear, and we say, step away, and it goes away. And we said, to confirm, step close to it again. It was, and it would back away though. So now we know we're talking to something. So then we said, if you're a female, step close to it, nothing. If you're a male, step close to it. And then we said, let's figure your age out. We're going to go by tens, and we'll give you about 10, 20 seconds to respond. So we'd say, are you 10 years old, 20 years old, 30, 40? When we got to 40, we said, we're going to go by ones now. Ready? 41, 42. When we got to 43, it just went crazy. We were like, oh shit, he's 43 years old. He's a male. And then we just worked our way down this process, and we were able to, and during this process, I watched a full body shadow man step out of the room that the REM pod was next to, stare at us for a second, and step back in. And I remember it's pitch black dark, going to the guy next to me going, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, best day of my life.
I would have never seen him step back in the room.
No.
Fantastic. Best day of my life, man.
I'd be the guy with the flashlight. Look at the seat.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy, would a thermal imager ever, if you had a tick in there, would it pick up any?
It could. Yeah, absolutely. So there are times where paranormal investigators will catch. So one, I don't call myself a paranormal investigator very often because I kind of feel like you need some formal training for that. I drink beer and hang out with my friends. So I call myself a paranormal enthusiast or an adventurer or an explorer. So let's be real about that. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just messing around a whole lot. But thermal camera, yeah. So a lot of times, ghosts and spirits will be colder than the temperature around them. So you'll see cold spots move. There's been plenty of evidence online. You can watch ghost shows throughout the ages, and they'll have a thermal camera, and you'll see a figure that's colder than the ambient temperature walk past. Those thermal cameras are really cool. We've gotten to the point now where you can plug one into your cell phone and use your cell phone as a thermal imaging camera. I just don't want to drop $300-$400 for one right now. So,
yeah,
but maybe next year. Good question.
Where you can see the the stick figures. I forget what that's called.
So we have an SLS. We actually have an SLS camera. So y'all remember back in the day when we had the Xbox and it had the Kinect thing on there? I don't remember exactly what it was called. You used to play the video games.
Paranormal
and it would map you out. Yeah. So we actually use one. We've had some issues getting it to record and save the recording, but we use it anyway. The last episode we were in the basement, and Randy kept saying, I kept feeling this cold breeze blow up my back. And Randy would say, there's a figure that's walked up behind you. He could see it in the SLS camera. So, no, it's actually a pretty amazing piece of equipment. That's why I said we have all the equipment. We just,
So the other thing, especially when so there's, and I forget what it's that it picks up the different radio frequencies. of.
So we have a spirit box as well. Yep.
So the spirit box. So they have one person with the headphones listening to the spirit box that can't hear the questions, and then
Sure.
somebody will ask questions, and then the responses are kind of, they either jive or they don't jive.
Yeah. So they explain the spirit box to everyone who's not an enthusiast. So there's this little box that.
Here.
No. I tell you what, the spirit box is probably the most important piece of paranormal equipment ever, because just like when you see the old movies when there's white noise and you see like a ghost talking through the white noise, same principle. What happens is there's a little box. Well, it doesn't have to be little. It's a box, and it scans radio frequencies at a high rate of speed. And so a little too high of a rate of speed for you to get a full conversation or a word through. And so you pick the speed you want it to scan, and usually faster is pretty good. So you're not going to be getting feedback from radio channels. And it'll just make this noise that's really annoying, like
yeah.
And so there are times when we use it where we catch radio channel coming through and it doesn't work at all. There are times where we have it and it makes no noise. But then there are times where we're in a really haunted place where it is actual words that answer our questions exactly when we're asking them. And we have tons of those videos on our YouTube channel of we're having the spirit box and we're getting direct responses. I'm talking about like, what's your name? It'll say its name. And then, it's so crazy the amount of information that we can get from these spirit boxes that's just straight on. And then what you're talking about is called the Estes method, the Estes method. It's an isolation experiment where we take soundproof headphones and a blindfold and we plug somebody into that box so they can't hear anything external at all. All they hear is the white noise. And then we ask questions on the outside, and the goal is to try to get them to answer without hearing what we asked. And if it correlates, it proves that what we're talking to is a real spirit. And it's
down with that.
It's creepy as shit too, because I'm gonna tell you what, it says some things that just are absolutely astonishing. I'm actually currently working on one of the scariest videos I've ever made. I went to the Cabin 360 and we took two psychics. We put them both under the Estes method. We put them in two separate rooms of the house, and I stood in the middle and asked questions, and they all answered the questions together at the same time with the same answers, or they answered each other back and forth. So whoever we were talking to was talking to both of them. And I'm talking about, like, if I said, who's the guy with the hat, the Vietnam hat on, this one would say Chris, this one would say Scallion. It was wild. It was wild. And so that'll come out the week of the Halloween. I'm working on it right now. It's actually super, super scary.
I'm listening to you guys talk about the different equipment and everything, and I still haven't heard you guys talk about. So the flux capacitor comes in this thing too, right? So
the flux capacitor was Back to the Future.
Jeremy, is there somebody?
That's the only piece of equipment I know, Jeremy. I wanted to be part of the conversation, man.
No, man.
Jeremy, is there a specific group or individual that, if you had the opportunity to work with, you would?
Yeah, so I really like the folks. One, I've met Dave Schrader, who's like a pretty important dude in paranormal.
Yeah.
But there's a group. There's Amy Bruni and Adam Berry off of Kindred Spirits. There's a thing about them I like. Well, the reason I like them is they're not so over the top ridiculous like all the other folks are. They don't yell and scream. They really focus on finding out the story and the history of every location they go to, and they make a personal connection to every location they go and try to actually find out why that spirit or whatever it is still there. And so our group does a lot of the same things. Is we don't go in and act stupid. We don't go in and be disrespectful. We want to know who we're talking to and how we can impact them in a positive way. It's respect, right? Because if it's not the theory of the demon, but it's the theory of these are actual people, then why would I disrespect you? Why would I come into your house and disrespect you? That's not nice. So we as a group have a rule. We don't disrespect anybody. Now, I will provoke the shit out of something, try to get a response because it's good for views. Mm-hmm. But we don't disrespect ghosts, because that ghost is a person and I wouldn't disrespect them if they were alive. I'm not going to disrespect them when they're dead. And we get more responses out of them because of that. But yeah, Adam and Amy and Chip Coffee, those guys who I get to meet in November, which I'm really excited. I'm going up to a Paracon in New Jersey, and I'm excited about meeting those guys because they do it right. I think they do it right.
And New Jersey's
Very
huge
cool.
for. I know there was a place out in Mattawan that is a super haunted place. I know Jersey's been hit a lot, but dude, that's my jam right here. That's my jam. I'm gonna leave Tron behind the badge and just go to the paranormal.
Well, we'll take it.
Brother,
We'll take
I'll
it.
tell you what, man. Hey, go ahead,
So
Jeremy.
we have a lot of scary shit, man. Like we do a lot of scary stuff. You know, I'm getting ready. I'm an idea guy. Like I can't stop talking and thinking about ideas. And just the other day, I came up with this idea to take our group to a whole nother element, which I don't know if the group really is happy about this, but I wanted to have the Beyond the Badge Paranormal Fund, but I also wanted to start a nonprofit in our local area and have some sort of direct impact. And so that's sort of like the thing I'm working on right now is trying to figure out how we can do that, because I feel like we're supposed to do something. We can't just talk about it. We need to be about it. And there's things we can do locally, which will allow us a better way to help donate to Survive First through the nonprofit. So that's a process that I'm starting to look into at the moment, because I think we should do what God gives us. He gives us these gifts. We should do something with them. And I just feel like, why not? We need to do something good with the stuff. I love ghost hunting, man. That's like,
I couldn't
I
tell.
would do it every night. Yeah, I love it. And I have a group of people with me that love it. So
you make an important point, like Survive First and our friends over at Meg, and before Survive First wound up incorporating Badge United. These places provide services for first responders and vets that they're not. Survive First doesn't make money off of that. They're actually so, but we can't help without generating funding, and that comes from supporters, that want to donate, or organizations that want to help Survive First with their mission, or paranormal behind the badge with your mission, and I just think it's so important that you got to create venues where it feeds an income, so that while it's fun, you can also make an impact. Because I'm from this area and Richie is as well, and we know there's no shortage of first responders or veterans that are struggling at any given second of the day, and just to have just something else to help them out is just phenomenal. So I will tell you,
absolutely.
On my end, I'm local to you guys. I'm right around. I'm in the same neighborhood. Anything that I could do on my end to help support your cause, help Survive First, and hopefully scare the shit out of Raul or Chris. I don't think you'd scare Rich because he's from Boston. I think Ghost would be a nice fucking free.
Well, that was one of my questions for Jeremy. Like, I know you're pretty local, and you go to the Paracons and stuff like that. But like, have you like ventured out and kind of teamed up with any other paranormal enthusiasts, say in like the Northeast or anything like that, and kind of experienced that stuff?
Not yet, man. We've only been going on for about a year, so it takes a little while to get your name out there. We're kind of doing the whole like brand thing right now. We're just letting people know who we are and what we're about. We're trying to stay true to the mission.
Right.
We don't want to seem like we don't want to forget the goal of what we're about. Yes, we're a paranormal team, but I think the thing that makes us different is we're not doing it just to be a paranormal team. We have a goal and a mission. Paranormal team is just what we do it's our platform.
It's your outlet,
basically.
Right. It's your outlet.
It's our outlet. It's our platform. That's how we use it. People are interested. Look, people love ghost stories. Every day at work, I have fire companies that will come by my station and sit around, and I'll hold them for about 2 hours. They want to hear every ghost story I have. They've heard the stories before. They get terrified when I tell them, and it just shows me that people want to hear ghost stories. So
want to hear it,
why not do it, right? So
we also an experience.
They want to hear the things we've done and seen, and I love talking about stuff. I got some cool things happening next year, which I'm really excited about. There's an Edgar Cayce Museum in Virginia Beach. So we're setting up. We're working on setting up a Halloween right around the week of Halloween, they're getting ready to invite us. We've been kind of communicating to do a show there as a benefit for them, but they're going to allow us on the stage for a couple hours to tell our stories and show our evidence. And they want us to investigate the entire Edgar Casey campus, which is really cool. So I'm really super stoked about that.
Cool.
And we're getting
Jeremy, do you guys have swag or merch that people can kind of buy to help support?
So we do have a few things, man. But the problem is when you start selling a bunch of stuff, you gotta claim it all in your taxes, and there's some BS that comes with that. So one of the things, it's hard to take money, because then the government takes everything. Just the way the government is. We do have some merch. We do have we posted on our Facebook page and stuff, like a Halloween sweatshirt or hoodie that we're selling. But we just got to be careful and limit how much we do that. We want to go to some of these events, these weird bazaars and things, and have a table and set it up. But a lot of those things, we need to have some sort of way to, if we're going to get donations, we need a 501(c) or some sort of nonprofit tax shit. And then, if we make money, we're just going to have to figure out a way to deal with the tax part of that. So I'm trying to work that process out now. Right. Really for us, man, we have to take gifts. We have to call them gifts because I can't take donations at the moment because I say if you want to donate something, send it to Survive First right now because that's our donations. That's where I want them to go. Gotcha. People buy us. If people buy us equipment, then that's different. We call it a gift. But we got some cool things coming down the pipe, man. And we're planning out our 25 year. We want to get scarier. We want to go to the Hinsdale house. We originally wanted to go to the Conjuring house, but that lady's gone a little wacko. Wanted to do. We got some cool places we want to go. We want to travel a little bit further. We want to get darker, scarier, more adventurous. And we've been adventurous. We've been to some pretty cool places, but yeah, we're looking to do some.
You would never start going into like buying Dibbit boxes or is that something that's possible?
No, I don't want to do dumb stuff like that. I don't want to open boxes up where things now have possessed my children. We don't do Ouija boards.
Oh, Lord.
We don't do those kind of things.
That's the crazy shit. Even more crazy, man. Hey, guys, with that, we're coming up on our hour. We already know that Jeremy's going to be back, and I'm going to probably say some stuff at the end here that I'm going to regret. But with that, man, we're going to go around the board here real quick. And Jeremy, like I said, we'll give you a last word. But we'll start with Tiger King, brother. Are you okay? You still with us, man? What's your thoughts here, man?
I got nothing to say. No, I'm just kidding. This is amazing, man. When I went and peed, I hollered at my wife. I said, I'm going to get on this YouTube channel when we get done. I got to check this stuff out. So anyway, I think it's awesome, man. I can see your passion for it, which is what you got to have. And, I got a buddy that does like 3-day wilderness hikes for first responders as a therapy treat. Man, I can see you leading a group of firefighters as that may be their escape like it was for you. And I was glad to hear you say that, here you're talking about you went to some dark, not ghost dark places, but in your mind dark places, and your guys and girls on the job know about it and it's well received and they're not, not ostracizing you because they think you've struggled mentally. So that was cool to hear. And man, I love what you're doing. And I'm really excited to get off here and go get on YouTube channel.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, and thank you for your service too, Jeremy.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Richie Rich, man. Richie Venkman Creamer. What's up, man? What you got?
No, I want to kind of go off of what Chris was saying. Like, I'm local too, Jeremy. So any of the stuff that you got in your head, Chris and I have dabbled in 501(c)(3)s and all that stuff. So like, please reach out to us. And if we can kind of set something up as a direct conduit into Survive First, we're in your backyard, buddy. So, yeah, I joked that I couldn't tell that you actually love what you do. But it's all what we talk about all the time on here is that purpose, right? And or going back to those old hobbies that made us whole. And it seems like this has always been a hobby for you, even growing up as a kid. And it kind of took you, to kind of go through that adversity to kind of go back to doing the things you love. So I think it's twofold. I think, you going back and having this passion that you have for what you're doing, couple that with your adversity and your story that you have going through those tough times. it kind of blends into what we're trying to do here at Trauma Behind the Badge is just normalizing. It's okay to go through it as long as you make it through it on the other side.
Absolutely.
Good word.
Ghost Hunter, what you got, my brother?
I listen. It's this is combining two of my passions, like working with Trauma Behind the Badge, and specifically with the Raul, Rich, Chris, and Doug, and Karen, and all the ancillary folks that are attached with us. It's a passion to helping people, and Rich and I, again, being local, we help a lot of local stuff out, but we're also branching out nationally, and we make a lot of contacts that way, and then completely separate. I love, again, all things paranormal and all things ghosts. And again, I'll go wherever I go traveling. I'm doing one of two things. I'm either taking a Segway tour because that's cool, and I don't care how stupid I look. And if there's a haunted place to stay at, I'm staying there just for the experience. So I don't know about the rest of the guys. I'm here, and if you do something and I can be a part of it, I am down. It's
yeah.
But I think, to kind of echo what you were saying earlier, this is not just, it's combining the fun stuff and something that's really awesome that I really love, like watching and really into. But there's a nexus of you're helping somebody. That to me, like, elevates the entire platform, where it's not just eye candy. It's not just like, hey, I want to forget about some stuff and watch it. There's a message there, which is, again, I applaud you for making that connection. And again, as somebody who's an enthusiast himself, I didn't even see that connection there. So I'm super pumped if there's a ability to do it. I know with our connections between myself and locally, we can get you into some pretty fucked up places. I was thinking out of the gate, we could get them over to, like, Azalea Middle, where we used to do canine training.
Oh yeah,
and send those fucking.
I mean, I'm in, man. All you gotta do is say it. I'm there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a couple places in Norfolk that would be beficial to you and your team for sure.
You just let us know we're there, man. We're always looking for a place to go.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate what you're doing, and I've watched the videos that you had on there, but again, I'm a nerd for it, so I love it regardless. And the shittier the better, because I think it's like that. It's like a guerrilla marketing kind of, just no holds barred, like true, like Blair Witch style kind of stuff, where it's just
you're gonna get what you get. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but that's half the fun. If you go to someplace,
those cameras cost $100 off of Amazon. Okay, you're only gonna get you're only gonna get a certain. I don't have the kind of Ghost Hunters budget.
Well, listen, if you got a spot, I'm down, and I'll bring my own Depends in case I shit myself. And that way,
that's the goal. That's totally the goal, by the way.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
With that, Dougie Doug, what you got, my brother?
Man, I'm just sitting here enjoying the conversation. This is the funnest thing we've done in quite a while. But so I'll tell you two different things. I'm gonna back what Richie said about the way you can get help. You always hear me talk about in my presentation mindless TV. I would come home and watch mindless TV. And I had to watch stuff that was totally off the spectrum of what I was used to in my life. It was the only thing that I could handle. And so I found Bigfoot. And I just became interested in it because it's kind of stupid. Then I started believing that I was the dude who could find him. And so I got into Bigfoot. And once I watched every program of Bigfoot, I jumped over to paranormal shit. And I got in, I've watched them all. And I just always thought it was, even though I'm a big sissy, I always just thought it was super cool. It's like my thing. I've watched them all. And even Ramirez and I stayed in a haunted hotel like a couple years ago. And my room was doing weird shit all night. Like the door kept opening and closing. The TV would turn on, the lamp. But anyway, Karen gets a hold of me one day. She goes, hey, I spoke to this firefighter that does paranormal shit. And she started saying they want to hook up and do this stuff. And I went, oh, fuck yeah. Like, it was that easy for me. Then I had a conversation with Jeremy, and I'm like, these are my people. I'm big on alternative therapies. Jeremy and I have spoken a couple times about doing stuff together. Survive First has given them 100% of our support behind them, and man, we just love what they're doing. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when I talked to Jeremy, and he's like, "Hey, man, I want you guys to come up and do this shit." I called all you guys were like, this fucking crazy ass firefighters like going into haunted houses. And we were all like, yeah. Everybody said, yeah, but they were like, ooh, shit. I don't know. I got chores to do that day. But,
right.
I guess what we'll do is me, Raul, and Chris, we'll have to come into Norfolk and go over in there. I just got asked today by DC Airport and Dulles about all of us coming and doing some training in the area. So maybe we can make something work like sooner than later. And that would be kind of fun for all of us.
I told you that the guy from St. Augustine Ghost Company, the guy who runs all the St. Augustine stuff, actually FaceTimed us, and he's interested in sponsoring us if our subscriber number goes up. So if all your followers hit the subscribe button, the sponsorship gets us paid travel and equipment. So then we can really start branching out, because he loves the message.
We're plugging it on our end.
I'll get Karen to put a post tomorrow. God
because
dang,
he loves the message, man. He said that because I talked to him and I said, look, man, I appreciate all the sponsorship, but I really want us to push the message, and I want us to keep pushing what we're doing, and the sponsorship would help us with that. And so he loves the idea that we're first responders and that we are doing it for the mental health thing. So his big thing was he was absolutely saying he wanted us to come down to St. Augustine, which is close to you. And he wants us to investigate some locations there that he owns. And then he's going to give us equipment while we're down there. And I said, well, my Survive First is in Cocoa Beach. And he's like, shit, that's 30 minutes away. So I thought, why don't we open up our 25 season in St. Augustine with Survive First and do a giant episode with Survive First, right? How awesome would that be to start the year off?
Oh yeah,
man.
So you jumped right ahead. That's one of the things I was gonna say. Because Doug's talking shit like, just give me Raul and Richie. Fuck, I'm not, but I will do that if you guys come down to St. Augustine. I'll go ahead and bite the bullet and stay wherever you tell me and shit. But I am telling you, if we do that shit, I am gonna be on you like fucking white on rice, man. I'm gonna be in your hip pocket. Hey, brother, you better get on me then, because I'm gonna be on Jeremy. Because man.
Hey, everything
and you got to make sure that we don't carry guns.
So your tears,
for sure.
It's all going in the video. People like to watch that shit.
Absolutely, I know it. I know it, man. I know it. Well,
hey, down here and thaw out this winter when you need to thaw out. Let us know and we'll set it up.
Yeah, we're looking.
So Jeremy, I pretty much, man. You let us know, man. We're all in. We definitely got to have you back, man. Be ready. Thank you for coming on. I can't tell you enough. This is just some fun shit to talk about. We all, I'm sure now that we know, will be involved in your upcoming shows throughout the years. So just be ready for us, and just be patient with us. Except for the ghost hunter right there, he's probably going to try to run shit. So you deal with that part.
Hey,
but outside of that, man, we're going to open. Absolutely, man. Outside of that, Jeremy, I'm gonna open it up to you, man. Definitely know that if you could just make sure. I think I have everything, like the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, the website info.
What is the YouTube channel?
Yeah. If you can throw all that out there, man. The floor is yours right now, Jeremy.
Yeah. So first off, I want to thank all of you guys, because you guys are pretty amazing. The fact that you have. That's the fact that you have this podcast. You really reach out to a lot of people, and you guys are awesome. And I was super excited to have the opportunity to come and just talk to you guys. You guys are awesome. And so thanks so much for what you do.
Thank you.
It's a blessing for me to be here. I think every outlet is a blessing, is a way for us that we're put in this position that we should do something about it. And you guys are doing it. You guys are living it. So that's awesome. Hey, look, so first thing is we have a webpage. It's beyondthebadgeparanormal.com. Everything you want to know about our team, every place we've been, all the equipment, all the fun stuff. We got everything on that webpage. It's brand new, but it's an interactive webpage. It's beyondthebadgeparanormal.com. So if anything you want to know, it's got our social media links. It's got everything. I've tried to make it exactly what people need if they want to learn about us. If they want to start their own paranormal team, I've actually got links to Amazon links to buy their own equipment. I got it all in there. I got educational videos for them on every piece of equipment. I'm getting ready to put a Paranormal 101 page where if you want to start your own team, these are things you need to do, because I want people to have an opportunity to do what we're doing. And I think by giving other people the opportunity to be successful, it helps you be successful. So it's all out there. I'm not keeping it all to myself. But the thing I'm most proud of about that webpage is the Survive First section. I created an entire page for Survive First, and that page is really important to me. It has the links to every part of Survive First actual web page, and you can go on there. You can get help immediately. There's a button if you hit, it takes you straight to the suicide hotline. There's so many different things on that website I'm super proud of, and yeah, I just love it. There's even a button you can hit on our team page. When you hit a button, I'm putting the videos in now. I'm making the team members record themselves so they can do a personalized message versus just a picture. Because I think me in a video saying, hey, thanks for hitting the button. This is what we're about. And I want them to talk about how the group helps them in their trauma. Because one of the things that I think is so important for us to do for everyone out there that's watching is understand to be transparent. You know, look, I'm a grown ass man, but it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have pain. It's okay to be sad and to hurt and to need help. It's okay to be all those things. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be that person. But if I keep it all in here and never let anybody see it, I can't help the next person. So I want to be completely transparent and open about my struggles. You know, I had suicidal thoughts. I had a plan. I was in a dark place. My marriage was ending. I had to move out of the house. All this shit was happening. But I want everyone to know that. So, you know, if you're just like me or close to being like me, that you can get through this by support from your friends, support from your family. If you're religious, you know, you got God and whatever religion you believe in. Any other outlets you have, you know, we're out there. If you need help, reach out to someone. And if it's just me, you can reach out to me and I can hook you up with somebody. But Survive First Foundation, there's a whole bunch of outlets out there for you. So that's the big thing for me, is I want to make sure people understand that I struggle and it's okay. You struggle, it's okay. We're all human. Underneath that badge, we're all human. So that's a big thing. And all of our social media links are on that webpage. So you can if you go to the top, you hit about at the very bottom that says social media links. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Threads, which I don't even know what the hell that is, but I got it. And I don't think it actually works, but something happens. And we have a Twitter. I put us on everything. And beyondthebadgeparanormal.com, man.
It's YouTube's really cool. On there as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a few of those
YouTube information. Okay, good deal.
Yeah, but Beyond the Badge Paranormal on YouTube, there's only one of us. If you subscribe to that channel, let me tell you, subscribing does a lot. Watching is important. I appreciate the watch hours because that's how we can monetize at some point. Like Doug, I told Doug a long time ago, if we can get enough subscribers and we get enough watch hours, we can put sponsorship on the site. Then we generate money that we can donate. That's what subscribing lets us do. It also helps our platform continue to move on. So we need subscribers. That sponsorship, if we are able to get that, man, you're talking about taking away a financial burden of us. Like we pay, you know, it costs us a fortune to travel to Kentucky. I mean, I had to do 2 rental cars, 2 Airbnbs, plus the facility. And that's just a bunch of firemen coming out of our own pocket. So, my big message is, hey, it's okay not to be okay. Man. And tomorrow needs you. And we love you, and reach out if you need help.
Man,
absolutely, man. Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jeremy, we're definitely going to have you back, and we're going to be in touch and doing some future stuff with you, man. And with that, man, we're going to let everybody go. As always, guys, if you or somebody you know is in crisis and needs some help, our information to be here at the end of the show. Reach out to us. We promise you we'll reach back out to you, whatever we can do. And also we'll have Beyond the Badge Paranormal. Their information will be on the credits too. So all the links he was talking about, the website, it'll all be there. So thank you very much, Jeremy. Thank you for everything, man. We appreciate you guys. Don't go nowhere, anybody. Don't go nowhere.
Awesome.
That one was for Texas, man. That's for